So today, we're playing a Berserker, and we have an awesome Smelly wall game today. Our goal, stack up as much block as possible to inflict a ton of poison. Our weapons of choice, Eggscalibur with a side of garlic, and a Death Scythe with a side of Doom Cap. These combos should give us a lot of block and an insane amount of poison stacking. But hey, check this run out and let me know what you think of this build. Okay, let's go and do some rank games with a random character and see who we're going to get today. So it looks like we're playing a big old Berserker with a utility pouch and a set of blueberries. So kind of makes us want to go for a torch type setup, although we are going to get a skull badge in the first round, which I definitely want to take. Now, which sort of items do we actually want to go for? We could try staff on healing type builds. We can go for a ruby chunk or even an ice dragon type build also. Well, let's grab it for now. Let's go ahead and add in our wooden sword. We do kind of want to grab this whetstone. We could end up just grabbing this frying pan also, since it is on sale. It's more than likely going to be our best bet. I'm going to keep our sapphire in our backpack. So after 3 seconds, we do inflict 1 cold. Because if we do have it in our weapon, it is going to take a little bit longer. Because it is only 15% chance to get that 1 cold. So I just want to guarantee you, and unfortunately, I'm going to begin a leather armor. It is going to be a little bit more rough to actually inflict those debuffs. But eventually we do get through it. But our opponents, it does have a lot of armor to break through in the first rounds. So unfortunately, it's not looking too good. Our only saving grace would be to inflict a lot of blind. And it was actually close, surprisingly. Now if our opponent didn't have that armor, we definitely would have smashed that opponent for sure. We're going to be taking our banana. We're going to move this up to this side so it actually triggers a little bit faster. And I'm going to continue rolling because I do actually want to craft up a torch. And let's roll again. And that is a freaking axe. But I do kind of want to grab this wooden sword and craft up a hero sword. But for now, we're going to grab this garlic. And we're going to slot it in beside our frying pan for now. We're actually going to have it like this so we increase the speed of our food items. And we're going to move on. Now this should be pretty decent. We're crafting up that torch. And whetstone should increase the damage on our weapons. And you're not going to eat up as much stamina since they're in our utility pouch. Since they are slowed down in attack speed. So all in all, it shouldn't be too bad whatsoever. And awesome. Just pausing the video here very quickly, just to ask you to subscribe. It really helps me out. Thanks. Now let's get back to the video. And that's that whetstone, which we're definitely going to craft up into that hero sword. I'm actually going to grab the custom card, and I'm going to roll once. But unfortunately, I'm going to take out a frying pan for this round. I'm going to be greedy. I'm going to tick a box for riches in the next round. But once we get our hero sword crafted up, we should be in a pretty good spot, since it is going to eat up a lot less stamina. And then we can eventually add in our frying pan once again. But for now, we're going to move on with this situation. Now we are inflicting a lot of debuffs, which is going to be a big contributor. Because if you inflict that colds, their weapon usage and their food items are actually taking a lot longer. Those bananas are 5.1 seconds to activate, which is crazy insane. And also inflicting that blind and that poison, overall smashing. Now we did get a hero sword, which is fantastic. But which subclass should we actually go for? Smelly wall is kind of nice. It does give us a lot of block. We could stack up a lot of poison that way between the skull badge and the garlic. So let's actually go ahead and grab it. Now we do want to find as much garlics as possible. Let's go ahead and grab this too. Let's roll again. And that's a Death Scythe. It looks like we're going for a poison stacking build with the skull badge with the Death Scythe. It does sound amazing. So I actually do want to keep our frying pan for now. I'm actually going to sell the hero sword that we crafted up. We're going to grab the storage. We're going to sell this torch also. We're going to grab this Death Scythe. And we're going to use garlic. Now I'm actually going to take the deck of cards too, because we could craft up some ice dragons, some ruby chunks. That's going to be fantastic also. But this customer card definitely coming in super awesome. To get that Death Scythe, 1% chance and being on sale at the same time. And also be stacking up a crazy amount of poison. Hell yeah, this is going to be awesome. Let's move on. Now we do have our Death Scythe targeting our Smelly wall along with our skull badge. And we are going to need a lot of stack and block. But this should be pretty good. We should have a tons of block. We should be able to inflict a lot of poison. Not a crazy insane amount, but still enough to smash down an opponent. Which is awesome. Now speaking of awesome, that is a freaking leather armor, which I do want to grab. But I want to craft up vampiric armor. That way it just scales up a little bit more. In block, let's take our deck of cards. Let's grab this. Let's roll once. And this is going to be genuinely crazy insane. This is literally Excalibur with a bunch of garlics, with Smelly wall, with the Death Scythe. We could have something insanely awesome. To the point, we're going to sell our customer card. I'm going to sell our 2 gemstones, and we're going to grab this leather bag for now. I'm going to take out our little Star of Courage so we can actually add in our armor. We're going to have to wait around to craft up that Excalibur. We should be able to get a good bit of poison by adding in a leather armor. Well, actually there's only 4, but with our Smelly wall and with our garlics and with our skull badge, we should be able to get quite a bit of poison overall. We'll also keep ourselves alive. And this is looking insanely good right now. Now let's go ahead and grab our rogue potion. Let's actually grab this gemstone. Let's roll once. And I do kind of want this gemstone. Fly garlic along with the garlic is amazing too. And we don't have a whole lot of storage. I do kind of want to keep our deck of cards to craft up some dragons, but unfortunately I think we are going to have to get rid of it. But for this round, we're going to be taking out all these items, and we are going to be crafting up our Excalibur. And this should be fantastic, because this should get a ton of damage, we should be able to get a ton of block, and once we get Excalibur in, we should be able to make these garlics go turbo fast. Now, I was also considering going for those armored pups, because that is a lot of stack and block too. However, this opponent is going to be removing our poison, which is quite scary. We should have a good bit of DPS between our frying pan and that Death Scythe. And overall, smashing. Excalibur is going to be extremely good for us. We're going to have to grab some storage. Let's grab a Fly Garrick. Let's actually grab this Amethyst. And roll once. And smashing items between the Mana Orb and the Toad. I think we might actually have to get rid of our leather armor. Well, I think we're actually going to get rid of our deck of cards. Unfortunately, I think we're going to get rid of a box of riches. We're also going to get rid of this. And now our Mana Orb should be in a much better position in somewhere like this. We can add in that Fly Garrick also. But I do want the Toad. Now the Pineapple will be kind of nice too. But I'm going to leave it. We are going to move on. And we should be in a pretty good spot, because with our Amethysts in our Excalibur, we should be able to steal up a lot of buffs too. And this should be pretty good. Now we didn't put our Excalibur in the utility pouch because we just want this to be hitting a little bit faster. Once we get our mana, we should be able to get a ton of block. Also increasing our poison stacking. And again, this is looking awesome. Really fantastic. Now comes the choice in which subclass we should actually take. Now Pack Leader. Now at this point I would love to go Pack Leader and get a bunch of these armored wisdom pups, because this is literally scaling block. But they do take up a hell of a lot of storage, but it would be fantastic. Otherwise we'd go for Deerwood Guardian and just get a ton of mana that way. So we can keep our Excalibur procced, keep some battle rage for longer, get a bit of an extra heal. So we get healing as well as block, and tons of mana. This is definitely going to be the play. But I am still super tempted to actually grab this Wolf on Bloom and try to go for those doggos. Bit of a risk, I know, because it is RNG, but I think we're going to take the Deerwood Guardian for now. Which means we're going to need the storage. Let's grab a Toad. Let's roll once. And we definitely need that Demonic Flask, because that is going to be that Doom Cap. I'm going to grab this shiny shell for now. I'm going to roll once. And that's another freaking garlic, which we desperately need. We are going to move on with our Deerwood Guardian in this position. This should be pretty good overall. And we are going to move on once again. Now, once we get our extra garlic, we should be in a pretty good spot. Once you craft up Doom Cap, we're going to be in a really fantastic spot, because that is literally going to be reducing our opponent's healing to be non-existent. And we'll see. We are inflicting a lot of poison, but our opponent's actually dealing quite a bit of damage. And awesome. Not too bad. They did have that pumpkin to be stunning us. That's for sure. Now let's grab our potion belts. We're going to craft up that Doom Cap, which means we can't grab a garlic. And we definitely need to scrub the crystal, because putting this in armor is going to give us more block. And potentially going to be pretty good with Smelly Wall, hopefully. Well, let's sell our shiny shell so we can actually grab another garlic. And we did have to change our whole step around to be more like this. Now we did move our Mana Orb in here, which is going to be much better for us. Our Smelly Wall is going to be here, so it targets a lot of our garlics. We're going to be crafting out that Doom Cap. We're going to be grabbing this corrupted crystal, and we are going to move on. Now we are going to begin Nocturnal Locklifter. They're going to have tons of healing, which could be quite scary, but they don't actually have their magic staff in beside their Nocturnal Locklifter. They're not going to get healing from that magic staff, which would be a hell of a lot scary. But we have so much block. That is actually kind of insane. And awesome. This is looking pretty darn good overall. And we do get our Doom Cap, which is going to be crazy, crazy good. We'll have to slot it in now in a second. We do have a choice to make. Should we take the hardwood? Should we take the Power of the Moon? Or should we take the stoned skill? Well, I think we wanted Power of the Moon to get that big, big burst heal for 40% of our maximum health. Now, it does make fatigue start a little bit earlier, but it'll have to do. That's also another mana orb, which is going to be awesome. We're going to want a mana orb for now, which means you can't grab a corrupted crystal and go to roll once, and we desperately need a bit of storage. Now, I did switch it around to be like this, but we are targeting our banana with Excalibur because we're rocking a Death Scythe with Excalibur. We do need that stamina. But I do actually want to grab another Fly Garrick, and I do actually want this corrupted crystal. But we are going to move on once again. Now, with our 2 mana orbs in this position, we should be able to sustain our stamina much, much better. And with our Doom Cap in, we should be able to basically just reduce our opponent's healing down to 0. Because the longer fight goes on, the more we stack up our block, the more we inflict that poison. But this opponent's actually dealing quite a bit of damage actually, and unfortunately, we just couldn't survive that for now. Let's grab a corrupted crystal, let's grab a Fly Garrick, let's roll once. That's another mana orb, which we do need, but we need a lot of storage, and this is going to be fantastic. I'm actually going to have to sell this 1 gemstone so we can actually grab a bit of storage. I'm actually going to add in our armor over our blueberries, unfortunately. But let's go and move on. Now we should be able to get a ton of block with a corrupted crystal in our armor, which should be pretty good. Now we could have our Doom Cap in beside our Death Scythe, but I much prefer having our Smelly Wall and our Skull Badge right now. But that opponent is inflicting a lot of cold on us, but we are inflicting a ton of poison, and we have a lot more block since we added in our corrupted crystal. Not a crazy amount, about the same as a garlic. Now I'm going to have to grab the storage, and we're going to add in our blueberries in like so. Now I'm also going to grab this mana orb, place it in this position for right now. It'll have to do in here until we get our vampiric armor in. We should be in a pretty good spot. Now I'm going to roll once more, and that's all we can really do. And we are going to move on. Now this opponent could be bursting us down pretty darn fast, which is going to be quite scary. So we do need to stack up our mana once you get in that battle rage. It's not looking too good for us, unfortunately. That's just too much damage, unfortunately. Let's grab a bloody amulet. Fanfare is looking kind of awesome. I'm going to grab it, but I'm going to roll once. And that is a second Doom Cap, which we desperately need. But I think we're going to have to sell our Fanfare for right now. If we craft up vampiric armor, that is just going to be too good and not to actually take. Now, unfortunately, this mana orb is going to have to sit down in this position for right now. And we are going to move on. And once we get a vampiric armor in, we should be in a really fantastic spot with our garlics. With our Doom Cap in, we should be able to stack up a lot of block, stack up a crazy amount of poison. Now, we are going to begin a armor stacking build. And that axe is going to be dealing quite a bit of damage. However, that's a lot of poison, that's a lot of block. And this is looking pretty good. But that axe is scaling up that damage. And awesome. Really fantastic. Now, we did survive with 3 lives left. We got a 26 block per second, which is not crazy insane. As for heals, about 15 healing per second, which is pretty decent all the same. And then a 33 DPS overall. We do really fantastic into healing builds. But let's go and see if we can actually make this a lot better. Now we did get a vampiric armor, which is going to be stacking block for us. We do want to grab another one of these. We also want to grab another Doom Cap, and we're going to add this in, and we're going to craft this up into Doom Cap. I'm going to flip this to this side. And I actually want another set of blueberries also. Now, we did change the setup around to be quite a bit different. We do have a Deerwood Guardian in this position, which doesn't have the crazy amount of value for it. Now, the Doom Cap is actually dark item. It's actually not a nature item, which does make a big difference for Deerwood Guardian, unfortunately. With our Excalibur in this position, we do have our garlic in here, and we actually moved our Death Scythe around to be in a hell of a lot of better position with a Doom Cap. What this should be insanely valuable to us. We should be able to stack up quite a bit of block, and we should be able to stack up a lot more poison with that Doom Cap and our Death Scythe. Our opponent is looking quite scary. They are running Gingerbread Jerry with a Thornbloom with a Spike Staff. They're going to be stacking up a lot of max life, but look how much block we actually do have. And look at that poison stacked up now. It's looking crazy insane for sure. But unfortunately, just there towards the end, we got turbo deleted instantly. which is straight up insane actually. Now we do have a second Doom Cap, which should be crazy insane. We did move our Smelly wall out. It needs to be here, but our mana orb also needs to be in this position so we can actually get a ton of mana for ourselves. Now this is also crazy good, but unfortunately I don't think we can actually take it right now. I'm going to reserve it. I'm going to grab garlic. I'm going to grab blueberries. I'm going to roll once. Now I'm definitely going to have to take spike collar, but let's roll again. And that is actually turbo nuts. We're going to add these in for now. Double prismatic orb. We definitely want both of these so we can start off immediately with Excalibur. But let's go ahead and move on. For now, we should be able to stack up a lot of poison. Now we're going to begin a staff one healing, which is actually going to be pretty good for us because with 2 Doom Caps in, our opponent isn't going to be able to heal and they won't be able to deal that damage. So we are going to be in a fantastic spot going to begin this point. Basically, that's going to be a free win for us. I'm not going to complain. That's awesome. Well, let's go ahead and grab Prismatic Orb for now. Let's roll once, twice even. And we desperately need this corrupted crystal. And we are going to need the storage also. But I think we're actually going to have to take out our spike collar for now. We are going to move on. We did put a Prismatic Orb in this position, so we do start off with 6 of mana, which makes it a little bit easier to get to our stacking Excalibur. Now our opponent is rocking that Dark Lantern. They're going to be inflicting a lot of debuffs on us too. But that is a crazy amount of poison. And this is actually looking genuinely insane. 172 poison and still going up. And awesome. This is looking genuinely crazy. Now let's grab our storage, which does mean you can't grab a Prismatic Orb. So it means we're going to grab this Corrupted Crystal for now. And we are going to grab a Fanny Pack also. I'm also going to grab these blueberries to place them over here because that is going to be a little bit more mana for us. And I'm going to move our Toad down. So basically we do start off with 10 mana from this one Prismatic Orb, which should be awesome. Now I do actually want to put our Toad back because we do need that to trigger our mana a little bit better for us. But this should be insane, especially with 2 Corrupted Crystals in our armor. We should be able to stack up a lot of block. But we'll see. We are going to begin Poison Ivy. They're going to be inflicting some poison on us, which is going to be quite scary because we're going to be taking a lot more damage. But we should have a crazy amount of block as we stack up our own block, our own poison I mean. But they are getting a lot of heals and it's going to be super close actually. And we barely scraped by. Holy moly, was that way too close for comforts. Our opponent did stack up a lot of Empower, a lot of max HP. But our DPS is just about a 40 DPS, which is not crazy insane. Our opponent actually managed to deal with a lot of our poison, with cards and a lot of these health pots. And their DPS was actually quite a lot more significant. As for the heals though, with our Doom Caps in, our opponent literally can't heal. As for our block though, we managed to get a 44 block per second, and those Corrupted Crystals providing basically 100 each. But let's keep it moving for now. And that is another Corrupted Crystal. I wish we had another armor to actually place it. But this is going to be the final round. I think we're actually going to grab this final Prismatic Orb so we get that immediately stacked up. So we get our Excalibur immediately stacked up. But out of all these, I would like to take another Mana Orb, but I don't think we exactly need it. Spike Collar will be fantastic for 2 more seconds in that Battle Rage. Another Corrupted Crystal in for armor would be awesome. But I don't think we can afford to take any of them actually, and honestly, this cheese would have been super awesome to add into. But unfortunately, we're going to continue to roll for now. Let's roll once more. Another Mana Orb. Another Toad. All looking pretty good. But this is it. This is going to be a final setup. Definitely super awesome. To be stacking up a lot of poison. He'd give us a ton of block. Definitely awesome. Death Scythe, Excalibur, Deerwood Guardian. We're going to be stacking up a lot of block while inflicting a crazy amount of poison. We're going to see. Is this going to be good enough? Are we going to fall short? Can we actually win out? We do start off with all our mana. And we could be bursted down immediately before we even get into Battle Rage, which is going to be super scary. And it's looking like so. Because it does take us 5 seconds to get into our Battle Rage, and we never actually got into Battle Rage. Unfortunately, the bad thing about the utility pouch is we don't get into Battle Rage until 5 seconds. So we are very susceptible to big burst builds. Just like this one, unfortunately. They literally had 130 DPS, dealing 600 damage in 4.62 seconds. Now, even though we did have 250 block, we are scaling builds. We're definitely a scaling build. If you do not get to that Battle Rage, we end up just losing out just like what we did here. Honestly, tons of fun. Now, this is definitely one build that does counters. Another build would be debuff removal. Would be big counter deuce, unfortunately. But other than that, we should do pretty well into a lot of builds. Because we'd have tons of block. And we would have tons of heals. The healing from a Deerwood Guardian. And we'd also be stacking up a lot of blinds, a lot of calls from our skull badge the longer the fight goes on. But hey, we did survive with 2 lives left. Let's go and see just how much rank points did we get. Plus 10 ranks up quite a bit. But anyways, I'm going to leave it here for now. I just want to say thanks for watching. And if you enjoyed the video, please leave a like, comment, or even consider subscribing. And I hope you look out for the next one. See you next time.